Hi there. Okay, let's have a look at this graph description. The graph shows percentage against time measured in days. This is fine. The graph shows percentage. You could put a percentage here, but it's not necessary. Yeah, the graph shows percentage against time measured in days. The graph starts at 0% on 0 days. Okay, the graph starts at 0% on, really, it would be better, day 0. Well, I don't need to write it twice. From the beginning of axis. Well, it would need to be the axis, but but really this bit you need to leave out because the graph starts the graph starts at 0 on here. Okay, if you like, something like this is where the this is where the graph begins, but we're repeating that. This is no, to be honest with you, I think I just want to lose all that and put it like this from day 0. Okay, let's continue. Over the first day there is a very gradual increase. Yeah. In the next 24-hour period, there is a sharp increase, and the graph rises to just under 40%. Beautiful. Yeah. During the next day, we can see a slight decrease, and the next day, the day after, we have another sharp rise. Good, you're starting to vary these. Between days 4 and 5, there is no change. But in the 5th day, we see definitely a large drop. In. This needs to be on, because if it's in, it's during a period of time. And we would see various measurements. Okay, we need to think about on a certain day, in a period of time, at a certain moment. Okay, but on the 5th day we see definitely a large drop. Okay, this definitely you can't use. This definitely is referring to C. Either we see it or we don't. Okay, so let's lose this, but I know what you're trying to do. We see a large distinctive drop. However, this is immediately followed by a sudden increase, which pulls it up to the highest level of the graph we mentioned. Lose this we mentioned. We know we're talking about the graph. To the highest level of the graph. In day 7, the graph reaches a height of 82. I prefer on again. On day 7, the graph reaches a height of 82 and it fluctuates slightly over 3 days. And it fluctuates over 3 days and finally reaching the maximum at day 10. Okay, I quite like that actually. Immediately after the maximum, the percentage falls away very sharply, leaving us just over 30%. Here, leaving us at just over 30%. Okay, if it leaves us just 30%, this is what we've got left, having spent our money. But no, leaving us at just over 30%. In the final day, again on the final day, there is a small but insignificant increase. Okay, let's see. This is great. Okay, this is really good. It sounds really nice. The graph shows percentage against time measured in days. The graph starts at 0% on day 0. Try this. So, too many zeros. At 0% on day 0. Over the first day, there is a very gradual increase. In the next 24-hour period, there is a sharp increase, and the graph rises to just under 40%. Here. Okay, you could put some linker there if you wanted, but I like the way you're keeping the sentences short and sharp. Okay, during the next day we can see a slight decrease, and the day after we have another sharp rise. Between days 4 and 5 there is no change, but on the 5th day we see a large distinctive drop. However, this is immediately followed by a sudden increase, which pulls it up to the highest level of the graph. On day 7 the graph reaches a height of 82, and it fluctuates slightly over 3 days, over the next 3 days, over the following 3 days, and finally reaches the maximum at day 10. Immediately after the maximum, the percentage falls away very sharply, leaving us at just over 30%. On the final day, there is a small but insignificant increase. Yes. Let's have a look at the next one. The graph shows us that the amount of percent with the number of the years between 0 and 12. Okay, shows us that. No, shows us the amount. An amount measured in percent against uh, against time in years between 0 and 12. I'd probably say from 0 to 12. In the beginning of the very first year, there is a slight increase from 0 up to about 5. Okay. In the beginning of the very first year. Because this is the beginning of the first year. This is January, February, March. In the beginning, or during, in the very first year, not the beginning of it, in the very first year, there is a slight increase from 0 up to about 5. However, in the second year, it can be seen a zoom up to almost 30. Okay, it can be seen to zoom up to almost 35. Okay, yeah, 35. Coming to the third year, down to 20s. So coming to the third year. Okay, coming to the third year, where's the verb? Down. We need a verb with this down. It goes down to, I'm going to say, into the 20s. After the third year, we see a very sharp rise up to over 50s. No, over 50. More than 50, over 50, in the 50s. Okay, in the 50s, somewhere in the 50s, but over 50 as well is in the 50s, but 60 could be over 50 as well. After the third year, we see a very sharp rise up to over 50. at the beginning of the fourth month. Month and year. Okay, maybe at the beginning of the fourth month. Yeah, during the fourth month. At the beginning of the fourth month. So the fourth month is January, February, March, April. So the beginning of April of the fourth year. I don't think that's what you mean, though. Yeah. Um, After the 30th year, up to over 50, and I just lose this unless I'm understanding something wrong. Over 50. Between the fourth and fifth year, it remained the same. That means it stabilizes. So that means, so it remained the same. That means the figure stabilizes. As seen, it fluctuates. As seen, it fluctuates down 20% in the beginning of the sixth year. But the year mentioned, it rushed up to just under 80, and then slightly goes down and up in the fourth year, years between the 7th and 10th year. As seen. Okay. Yes, you could use that, but it's incredibly informal. So, as seen is really short for as we have seen. But let's check. As we can see, it fluctuates and goes down 20% in the beginning of the sixth year. In the sixth year, during the sixth year, comma. But the year mentioned, but the year after, it rushed up to just under 80. Okay, rushed up sounds fine. Then slightly goes down. Then it goes down. Then it goes up and down slightly in the 4 years during the 4 next years between the 7th and 10th year. Okay. You had trouble with this. Notice, in all of these others, you've been keeping your sentences nice and short. Here it's starting to get really long, and that's when the trouble starts. You need to be able to keep nice short ones like these. Bang, bang, bang. Yeah? I was tempted to tell you to put a whereas here. Well, I did almost. But at the moment, until you can get these short, sharp ones nice and crisp, don't start joining them into big, long ones. Okay. Just then, just then, this just is really quite informal. It's too informal for this this type of report. Then it can be clearly seen. Then so then it can be clearly seen that okay. And then it rises slightly forward. Okay, let me read the whole sentence. Then it can be clearly seen that a sudden drop from the highest point of the graph over 80s down to nearly 30 and it rises slightly, fortunately. It slightly rises, fortunately. Then it can be clearly so. Then no, we need to put this, whatever it is, because we don't know. Then a sudden drop from the highest point of the graph so instead of that paste, then a sudden drop from the highest point of the graph over 80s, not over 80, down to nearly 30, can be clearly seen. Fortunately, this is followed by a slight rise. Okay, let me read this now. The graph shows us an amount measured in percent against time in years from 0 to 12. In the very first year, there is a slight increase from 0 up to about 5. However, in the second year, it can be seen to zoom up to almost 35. Coming to the third year, it goes down into the 20s. After the third year, we see a very sharp rise up to over 50. Between the fourth and fifth year, it remained the same. That means the figure stabilizes. As we can see, it fluctuates and goes down 20%. I think it goes down to 20% in the sixth year. I'm not sure if it's 2 or not. So if it goes down 20%, it drops from 60 to 40. Sorry. If it goes down to 20%, it drops from 60 to 20. But the year after, it rushed up to just under 80. Then it goes down and up. That's actually quite interesting. Okay, yeah. Down and up slightly because the down is first. Yeah, it goes down and up slightly. More normally we say up and down, but probably if you look in the graph, it goes down and up. It goes down and up slightly during the 4 next years between the 7th and 10th year. Then a sudden drop from the highest point of the graph from over 80 down to nearly 30 can be clearly seen. Fortunately, this is followed by a slight rise. Okay, I hope that's helped you. Anyway, I'll see you soon. Bye for now.